What's going on, everyone? Gamer King Tar Heel back with another video. Today I want to do things a little bit different and be a little more topical. On my blog, GamerKingTarHeel.com, I wrote a little blurb called Xbox Flip Flop, and it's about how Microsoft completely changed all of their online policies, the DRM and the always online authentication and use games and stuff like that. And I'm actually just really fascinated by the whole situation. So I wanted to make a video and kind of discuss it with you guys as well, since you guys are my subscribers. And I have a little Nintendo note at the end as well. So go over there to the website, check it out, support me if you guys want, if you want to read the whole thing, or just go ahead and listen to the video. So as I said before, Microsoft has changed a lot of their unpopular policies, and it's really just fascinating to me. And what's really fascinating is just kind of how the gaming community has now split into two camps. There's the majority camp, which is I'll call it the We Won camp, and it's kind of this camp that feels that us as consumers were able to change a giant billion-dollar corporation's policies through Facebook, social media, Twitter, forums. We were able to voice our displeasure for all of these policies and make them change. And let's be honest, the actual thing was probably pre-order sales. We were able to vote with our wallets and say, we're not going to do this. And there's a whole group of people that's looking at this as a massive triumph. And it's actually like a really cool phenomenon that we were able to change a multi-billion-dollar corporation's policies so soon after being launched. So since Microsoft announced these changes, there's actually been a groundswell of support on the other side. People who think that it's just been a vocal minority that's poisoned the general public against Microsoft. And that Microsoft was trying to pull the gaming industry into the future with a purely digital model or a Steam-like model, which would have lowered prices across the board for everyone and put the money in the hands of people who actually deserved it, such as the actual console makers who would be able to have a higher profit margin and make better consoles, or more importantly, the game developers themselves. And instead of it going to your local retailer, your Best Buy, your Amazon, or anyone else who buy used games or your GameFly, the money was actually going to be able to be controlled and put in the hands of people who deserved it. Regardless of where you stand on the issue, what's almost undeniable is just how badly Microsoft misjudged this whole situation. It's almost like they didn't realize the backlash the gaming community was going to go, or they were too arrogant to really understand it or even care, or that their competition was going to beat them over the head with it into submission. Microsoft is one of the largest companies on the planet, and they've done product launches that are bigger than anything the Xbox One will ever hope to achieve. And it's still amazing that they were able to fail PR basics so badly. Microsoft wasn't able to own the message, and they weren't able to sell what they were doing to the general community. There are some really cool features with the Xbox One. I love the idea of being able to play my games on any box. If I go over and visit my brother in Monterey 3,000 miles away and he has an Xbox One, I'm not going to bring my Xbox One. But I love the fact that I'd be able to play all of my games and have access to all of my games while I'm over there playing on his system. Instead of hearing about stuff like that, though, all we heard was DRM, always online, used games, etc., etc., etc. Microsoft should have gone out in front and said, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, and this is why it's beneficial to you. Instead, at the very beginning, they were so fractured, you couldn't get a straight answer out of them. You would ask one guy one thing, he would say something. You'd ask another executive something, they would give you a completely different answer. And then when they talked about used games, they announced, oh, you can do used games on the Xbox, but we'll talk about how at a later date. I mean, this was just a disastrous decision that they made. The media and the internet automatically started talking about all these things. There were going to be huge fees, no game flies, preferred retailer status, so you weren't going to get any money from your games, and it ended up just being a total disaster for Microsoft. So that's it for my thoughts on Microsoft, guys. I'm going to stop talking about it. You guys can check out more at GamerKingTarHeel.com. Though you probably were wondering why you were watching Luigi run around and die while I was talking about Microsoft. And not some little hidden, trick about that Microsoft is the ugly brother or the unpopular brother or anything like that. It's to celebrate the release of New Super Luigi U. So I bring this up because I've been playing Nintendo games since I was 6 years old and I got my first NES. And if you were to add up all the games I've ever played, I'm sure a large portion of them are going to be Nintendo games. I own most of the Marios, all of the Zeldas, all of the Metroid, and every Nintendo system that's come around. And I love Nintendo games. But New Super Luigi U is the first ever DLC that I purchased for a Nintendo game, which to me is just a fascinating and intriguing treat in this day and age that one of the largest companies in the world is finally releasing DLC. That's it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed my rambling. Stay tuned for more Vita stuff coming soon. And that's it, everyone. Have a great weekend. Take care. Be safe.